Hello, everyone. Today is February 25th, 2021. This is the Kubernetes Storage SIG meeting. So today we will go over our planning spreadsheet to check the status. Before that, I just want to remind everyone, code freeze is coming. It is March 9th. So it's coming soon. Yeah. So if you are working on a feature, make sure if there is a code developed entry, they must be merged by March 9th to make it into 1.21 release. And then there are also two other things that I want to mention quickly. The first one is that so there is a we can now do this opt-in feature blog. So that means every feature owner, if you're working on a feature, if you want to write a blog for that feature in 1.21 release, you can choose to do so. So please pin Saad, Michelle, Yang, or myself so we can add your feature in this spreadsheet. Then the deadline, I think we need to add that by March 1st. And then you need to write up the blog draft at least by March 31st for review. So that's the first one.
So we have to be on the spreadsheet at the beginning of the month, even if we don't write it until the end of the month?
Yeah, just they just need to have this one tracked there by March 1st. I think it's fine. Let's say if you add it there, then you somehow it didn't make it on March 9th. I think that you can remove that. I don't think that's a problem, right? So yeah, so if you
put me down for the data populators, volume populators blog entry.
Okay, makes sense. Thanks. Okay, and then the next one is that we are so basically the steering committee requires every SIG to do this annual report. So we're working on that, and the PR will be out soon for review. So that will be sent out in the SIG Storage mailing list. Right. Let's go to the spreadsheet. The first item, delegate FS group to CSI driver instead of kubelet. Hemant, do you have an update on this?
Yeah, so we are still, I started the feature development actually, but we had a meeting yesterday to discuss the FS group and the CSI. We needed James, so we had kind of blocked on the CSI spec change at the moment. So I don't know if we'll be able to merge this CSI spec change in time or not, basically. So this feature is at risk from that perspective. Yeah.
Okay.
Should we go ahead and cut CSI without this, or should we delay?
I
think the only other change, I guess, is the
two other changes.
Length.
There are some other changes kind of pending, also not merged yet.
Yeah, the capacity one that Patrick opened, and there's a change by Jan for cloned and snapshot restored volumes.
Do you guys know how far along those are?
I think I've approved both of them.
Mine is ready.
Yeah, they've gone through multiple rounds of review. We just need to pull the trigger.
So let me take a look at those, and if those are in good conditions, we can merge and maybe cut.
Yeah. Okay. So for the volume group, the FS group, I think the blocking is basically how to express the intent of like mount, and I will try and ping James and maybe schedule an offline call and see if that works out.
I would like to see the CSI release held up until Hemant stuff goes in too, because I think we all basically agree on it. We're just trying to wordsmith it right.
Okay, that sounds good.
Is your entry change depend on this, Hemant?
Yes.
Yeah,
it's a very
that's the problem, right? The 9. So you need to have that change before the 9th. March 9th?
The CSI change, yes.
Yeah.
Idea.
So that's the problem. I think we need that one, right? So we need to find James to get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll ping him today. I'm supposed to be on PTO, but I'll ping him today again and see where it goes. I have, yeah.
Okay.
So let's wait for at least the entry change is very small. It just involves like if the capability is detected, pass the flag. Obviously, we have to get unit test and things have a bad habit of complicating themselves. But it is essentially pretty simple change in entry.
Okay. Yeah, but we only have we have less than 2 weeks, right? So 1.5 weeks.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay. So probably we can still wait for until next week.
Yeah. Next week.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Thank you. Next one is the CSI online offline resizing fix issues. Haman, do you have any update on this?
Yeah, so there's a PR by Xing in external resizer that I've been reviewing, and there's a PR in Kubernetes main entry as well that changes that PVC being deleted while resize is pending. That's the one that you're trying to fix. For other things, the allow volume expansion or like the SC moving that field from storage class to PV or recovery, it requires skip. So I'll target next service. So that's the status.
Okay.
That's the state for the whole, like the next item recovery.
Okay.
Also.
Thanks. So okay, so we're still we stay in beta. Okay. So those other caps are also needed before we move this to GA, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
At least we had a call. We discussed that the resizing cannot go GA without recovery from resize.
Oh, this one. Okay, the recovery.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay.
So I think that has not changed yet, and this is pretty tricky to do.
All right. So this is still like in design, right? Design phase. So this is like still
trying to
figure out. Okay.
Yeah. So this was dependent on partly the pod resizing design, and pod resizing design kind of like Tim approved it like, I don't know, 12 days back sort of. So we have, and Tim and Jordan's recommendation was to use what comes out of that. So I am following up there, and I will update this enhancement based on what was discussed there and have a word with Tim and Jordan and Michelle and everyone.
Okay, thanks. Next one is Secure Linux recursive permission handling. Yang, do you have
no real update. I just started rewriting the cap.
Okay. Thanks. Next one, CSI entry read-only handling. Okay, I'll say Chen, you're working on this with Humble, or I don't know if Humble is
I haven't got it. So Humble was able to reply to me a couple weeks back, but I haven't gotten a hold of him ever since. But on my side, I should be able to have time to work on it within the next week or two. If he doesn't, he's not able to get to it. Okay. But yeah, this one is not bound by code freeze because it's in the external provision, I think.
Okay. Right. Thanks. Next one, issues related to assuming volumes are mark points. Is Xing here or Mukahit, who is working on this? Okay, no update then, if nobody knows anything. All right. Next one is storage capacity tracking for pod scheduling. Do we have Patrick here? Michelle, you know the status for this?
I think he's had a number of PRs out for review, and some of them have merged. But I think he is making progress on this.
But this is one that's waiting for a CSI spec change as well.
Yeah,
that's true.
Does he still have any entry changes though? If it doesn't have entry changes, then
yes, I think spec changes would potentially imply API changes in Kubernetes.
Oh,
Yeah,
so then it's
the
interesting.
spec change adds a new field that we need to consume on the Kubernetes side for correct behavior. So we can't make the Kubernetes change until the CSI change goes in.
We need to get that resolved. So, okay, thank you. So we need to get this see this back release resolved next week, I think, because then, yeah, March 9th is coming, the week after next week.
Yeah, and it takes multiple days to do the release. So, yep.
Yeah. Okay. Next one is the PVC inline and ephemeral volume. So this is also Patrick's. Michelle, do you know if this one has any pending things?
I think Jan has been reviewing a couple PRs. I think otherwise this seems in good shape, right? I don't think there's any major pending things remaining. Is that right, Jan? Who disappeared?
Yeah, are you talking?
I think Jan disappeared right when I mentioned him.
Okay, no, just has a question mark there. All right. Next one. Okay, so spreading over failure domains. So right now, no update because this one depends on the next one, volume group API, which we did have a review meeting just yesterday. So we got some good feedback. I'll schedule a follow-up review meeting on that. Next one, CSI out of tree, move iSCSI driver, fit and finish. Do you have
Yeah, so yeah, Christian volunteered to take on ownership of this.
Okay.
And so I think he's working on getting the image build working. I think other than that, like we just need to do some basic cleanup and we should be able to go and release a version of this.
Okay.
The image build PR, Michelle has LGTM'd, but it still needs to be approved by someone who's a valid approver in that repo. But that should be it for the image builds to start working.
Awesome.
Thanks. And then the next two, NFS provisioner and NFS client provisioner. Do we have a current here?
I think Kieran sent an email update this morning.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I think he said the subdir one is done and complete. There's like a new version released, the NFS client.
Oh, this one's subdir. Okay.
Yeah. That one's complete and I think released. I think he's still working on the NFS provisioner one.
Okay. Thanks.
Oh, Jan's back. Jan, do you know the status of the ephemeral volumes work?
Ephemeral volumes, I don't think I reviewed anything.
No? Okay.
I reviewed the host path, but they were for capacity tracking.
All right. So
I think there was something related to metrics that was assigned to you.
Metrics. Yeah, metrics, but they're just metrics.
Yeah, I reviewed that actually, and that's waiting for SIG. Like it'll get merged in today or tomorrow. It's just very like a small change. The SIG instrumentation recommend, like we decide to like not create too many time series, and Patrick made the change, so it should get in today or tomorrow.
Okay, so it looks like no major issue.
At least for the metric PR. I don't know about other PRs related to this enhancement.
Okay, all right, I'll just put this back. All right, thank you. Next one, volume, snapshot, namespace, transfer. So Christian,
Yeah, I think that the next step for this is we need to have a meeting. I've put a link to a doodle inside the main SIG storage planning. So if you're interested in attending that meeting, feel free to include your email address and select the times that work for you. Most of these are scheduled in the afternoon next week Eastern time, but there are a few in the morning. So we need to get together and discuss how best to move forward with this.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Christian, did we want to
You
talk
said
a little?
agenda doc is where that is?
He said
Yes.
he added
Okay.
something. He probably
Right.
added that later. Yes, this is he just added this one while we were talking. So
Yeah, it's a
why
suggestion.
is this? Oh, this is already. I don't know why this is a gray color. Okay, anyway.
It's because I'm not allowed to write to the doc.
But I think this is already
it's a suggestion. It needs to be approved.
I think this is already added. So okay, that's fine. I can read it anyway. This looks a little weird. Okay, we'll go to that.
And Hamant, what was your question?
I was about to say that if time permits today in today's call, we can discuss a little bit about like what we're going to talk about in the separate meeting. We can
Certainly.
just so that people know what we're going to talk in that.
Okay, yeah, we can. Yeah, I think since it's added there, we can maybe after this, we can talk about that.
Sounds good.
All right, thanks. Open house, yeah. So there is actually a PR out. It's being reviewed. So we're getting some feedback. I think we're waiting for some feedback from. I don't know if this person is in Signal or SIG instrumentation. So just trying to get some feedback from him, and then we'll decide how to proceed. There are just some discussions on how to implement this. So there are several ways, but just want to find what is the best way. And the next one, okay, so this is one in Populator, then.
All right, I'm off mute. So this KEP was approved provisionally by Tim, and we had a follow-up meeting actually this week where he showed up and we talked about what to do about some of the thornier API issues. He has asked that we actually split the KEP into two KEPs, so like one KEP for the volume populator stuff, but another KEP to like fix the existing data source weirdness, or when you put garbage into the field, how it gets handled, and then to try to get both of those KEPs into 121. So I have to like reformat the old KEP and write a new KEP and make an exception request, and they've said that they'll grant the exception request, but then I have to do all that and get the code done and do it by a week and a half. So it's a lot of work to try to do this the right way, but that's what I'm working on.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, Ben, can you go ahead and point me to the code that's problematic? I want to take a look at that because just to see if we can save you some work.
Okay, yeah, I can dig up the emission controller stuff that's the source of all of these problems, and I'll PM you on Slack.
Thanks.
Next one is Cozy. Do we have Srini here? No? Yeah, so I think they yes, I think the team reviewed it, and then this is not merged in, the CAP is not merged in 1.21. The team had some comments there. Team actually joined the meeting. So I think there's still some discussions going on for this. Saad, do you have any update for this?
Sorry, what item are we on?
This is the Cozy. Is it Srini?
Cozy. So Cozy missed the KEP deadline. They were able to get in touch with Tim to get some feedback, and they're going to continue to work on the feedback that's been given and try to come to an agreement on how to proceed. There's just going to be a meeting immediately after this meeting to discuss some of that. If you're interested, feel free to attend.
Thanks. Oh, I think it's I think we asked someone to come talk about the gateway API. I remember that was the last.
Yeah, the networking folks have
Yeah,
a gateway
gateway
API that they're going to present at some point.
Okay, thanks. Next one is the change block tracking is found here. Yeah, so I think we reached out to, I think it's I'm not sure how to say it. Aberg, am I saying your name right? So
Yes.
Iberg, okay, thanks. Yeah, so you said you reached out to some engineers to take a look, to review that doc, right? But you're still trying to get some feedback from them?
Correct, yes. I think it should be hopefully early next week.
Okay, thanks.
So I did a bit of review of this, of just one aspect of this design, which is the built-in assumption that you can convert block volumes to file system volumes and vice versa. I think that it's worth having.
Well, yeah. So let's actually talk about this in our next data protection working group meeting.
Okay. Yeah. I think it's of interest to.
Yeah, there are some additional issues, so let's talk in that meeting.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to talk about that in this meeting, in yesterday's meeting, but then there was something else comes up, so I think we need more time. Yeah. So so the feedback we want from our book is really regarding, because EBS API is a lot different from the API that we are proposing. So I just want to make sure that it works for them. Thanks. Next one is a new rewrite only access mode. So Chris is working on this. Is Chris here? Enhancements issue, working on a draft.
Yeah, he has a provisional cap out.
Okay.
I mean, I took a look at it. It looks fine for a provisional cap. It just sort of states the problem. And so he's working on adding more design details to that.
Okay, thanks. Next one is update topology labels from beta to GA. Do we have Lena or Jiawei here for an update?
Yeah, so for I think currently the GCPD and AWS EBS update has been done. And I saw Leila has a PR for updating the Azure Disk. So I think on that front, we're looking good. I don't see Cinder update that, and I will pin Yang to maybe update that.
I am here. I posted the PR to translate from CSI to Intri. Is anything else missing?
Oh yeah, that's a bug fix that's kind of part of this. But for this one, we're looking to update the PV label. The topology label, it used to be affiliate domain beta label, but now we're updating that to the GA label. So yeah, that's something we need to follow up. And also on the other Azure file, we also need to add another PR. Yeah.
Thanks.
All right.
Did we deprecate the Azure files behavior change that we were planning to? Sorry if this was like
Azure
the.
Oh, so this is as part of Azure Files CSI migration?
Yeah.
I don't think we did. Andy did have a PR out for it, and I think it merged already, but it doesn't say that in the release notes. We can go back and ask Andy to add it to the release notes. But yeah, that item should be tracked as part of Azure file migration, maybe not this one.
Okay. I'll remove this. So Yang is working on this one, right? So is that right? I just put Yang's name here. Yang is working on Open.
I will fix Cinder.
Okay, yes.
And I'm not sure somebody's working on Azure.
Okay.
I think Leila, you're gonna working on Azure, right?
Yeah,
So,
that's correct.
Okay. Thank you. All right, next one is the CSM migration. CSM migration core. So who's working on this? Java or Matt?
yeah. So for the core, last 2 weeks we had all the metrics PR merged. So now we have the metrics for the CSM migration. I'll talk more about the metrics in tomorrow's CSM migration meeting. I think other than this, there is no outstanding works remaining in the CSM migration core. So the next thing is for each driver to keep track of their CSM migration progress. And that's all.
Okay, thanks. Next one is CSM migration vSphere. I don't know if Devian is here. So I think we had a meeting with the SIG architecture, and then I think we actually kind of got an exception from them. We can actually deprecate. So Debian has a PR out that added some deprecation notices. So I think that one, does anyone still have any concerns on that, or is that good to be merged?
I think that can be good to be merged, like from code point of view.
Okay, yeah. So okay. I think Andrew also approve it. Okay, so if that's the case, then I'm going to go ahead to merge it then, because I see. I think there was I forgot who is that. There was a look good to me also from some folks as well. So all right, thanks. And next one. All right, so this one is crossed out. And Azure file. Okay, so Java, you want to talk about this one here, or?
Yeah. So for Azure Disk and Azure File, I asked Andy, and he said the plan is to by default in 1.22 in open source, and GA migration in 1.23, both for Azure Disk and Azure File.
Okay.
Sorry, Xing, wrong column.
Oh, file, right? It is file. Because the disk is crossed out.
No, sorry. I mean, 2 columns over in
okay.
column L.
Oh yeah. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. Sometimes I do that. Sorry. It should be somebody's name. All right. Thank you for catching that. Yeah. I think this pen is empty, so I started typing here. All right.
You don't know.
Yeah,
maybe
so
someone named by default.
I think the other item is that we should update the release notes for the PR that flipped the feature gate to also deprecate the behavior that Hemant is talking about.
Okay, update release note. Okay.
Is the PR to move the Azure file to beta already merged, or?
Yeah, that already merged.
Okay.
Okay, so Java, you are working on this. You're going to update that, or maybe you're going to...
I think we need to ping Andy to update the PR.
Okay, so Java, okay.
So we need to document both the FS group behavior thing and the node stage. Like you cannot use the same FS group multiple times on same, like different times. Both of this.
Yeah, same. That's probably 2 PRs, right? It's just 1 PR.
Just one. the release notes to capture the behavior like both of this stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess Hamad, can you help ping Andy to talk about it, since I think you're familiar with exactly what needs to be deprecated.
Yeah, I can ping Andy.
Right. Thank you. Next one, CSI migration GCE. Matt. Is there an update, Matt? I'll track.
I can update. So
Okay.
we're still plan to on by default in 1.21. So currently we're working on fixing the kubeup script, and other than that, we're good. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks. Next one is CSI migration AWS. Matt Wang. Okay, do we have an update? Targeting on by default. Is this still the same?
I think I think they don't have any work to target for 121, but they are working on being on by default by 122.
Okay.
So I guess you could also cross off the EBS stuff.
Let's see, across this thing. Strike through. All right. Thank you. Next one is OpenStack. So this is, I think, Yang is working already.
Yeah, well, I'm mostly tracking what they are doing. They are fixing their CI jobs, and actually I am testing how the migration works, but I'm still not sure we can catch the deadline in this release for being enabled by default. Because there are still some CI missing, some testing missing, and I don't have the OpenStack that, for example, with multiple topology zones. So I need somebody from the community to test it.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So you are actually talking to the OpenStack community?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thanks. All right. The next one is the staff CSI migration. So this is the Humble. Sad, do you get any update on this from Humble?
No, he's having some personal family stuff that he's going through right now, so I don't think we'll get an update on this for a bit.
Okay.
I think I saw APR related to RVD.
He seems to be a.
Oh, that's great.
It's I saw someone is working on this the CSI migration. I haven't seen any PR related to that, but like this person definitely mentioned he's implementing the CSI migration.
Okay, so I put the question mark. I see sometimes he is writing messages on Slack too, so I thought he might be back.
Okay. Do you know who the PR is from?
Joey, do you know?
Let me check real quick. It's
not from Humble. It's from someone else, but they're working on RVD.
Hu Cheng Z.
Okay.
Hu Cheng Z, yeah.
Okay.
I can put his name on this.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so next one is ungraceful node shutdown. Yeah, so so I updated CAP, and then I'm actually doing some experiment. I just based on what the CAP has proposed, made some changes to the code and see how that behave. Yeah, right now it's still in progress. So I think I need to pin Jin on something, because there's things I think she's very familiar with. So when the node comes back, we also need to look at how to clean up. So I think there was certain things that looks like it's not cleaned up at that time. So I just want to check with her and see what she thinks. Yeah, so this is a work in progress. And next one, enable user namespace in kubelet. So UIDs get shifted. Okay, do we have any update? Okay, so Herman is reviewing this. Herman, do we know anything about this one?
I haven't had chance recently to review it actually from after this. Anybody else has cycles to review it, that'll be much appreciated actually.
Okay.
It's mostly SIG node is doing the work, but we are reviewing it.
All right. Yeah, so if anyone else wants to help with review, yeah, please take a look. There's a link to the cap here. Okay, the next one is immutable secrets and config maps. Oh, this one is done. Okay. And next one is PVC created by stateful set will not be auto removed. Is Matt here? So
Matt is actively working on this.
Okay.
I'm not sure there's a PR yet, but I think it should be out soon.
Okay, thank you. And the next one expansion for stateful set. I guess this one is probably still no update because I believe, yeah, okay, thank you. And next one is content notifier. Okay, so yeah, we had a meeting with Tim and Jordan to discuss their concerns on the APIs, and Shangqian is working on updating the cap. Next one is Uto's mount split into a new repo. I think Srini is working on this. Do we have any update? Sado Yang, have you heard anything about this?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have any updates on that one.
Okay, thank you. Next one is a prioritization on volume capacity. Yeah, so Kofi probably not here. Michelle.
Yeah, there's a PR out and it's being reviewed by me and also some scheduling folks. So it's in progress.
Okay, thank you. And the last one is the user ID ownership in config maps and secrets. Jiawei.
Sorry, no updates.
Okay. Thank you. I think that's all we have on the spreadsheet. So going back here, we have this one item from Christian. Okay, so Christian, do you want to talk about this one briefly?
Yeah, so there has been a KEP submitted with the design. Hemant has reviewed it and raised a couple of concerns. The main thing I want to discuss is this design is based on the design for transferring persistent volume claims across namespaces. However, that design has yet to be merged. There have been 4 KEPs proposed over the past 2 to 3 years. I don't believe any of those have been merged. And the author of the most recent KEP has submitted this feature in KubeVirt. So there is a controller inside KubeVirt which uses object transfers to request data, cluster scoped, I believe, data volumes and PVCs in there. However, we don't have anything in Kubernetes right now. So to transfer volume snapshots, we would need to implement the controller and get this API approved. The discussion I wanted to have was, should we attempt to mirror a design that is currently pending? Should we attempt to make this a one-off, since it is theoretically doable inside of the external snapshotter without worrying about PVCs? Or should we attempt to implement the controller to transfer storage objects in a more general capacity and then extend it to volume snapshots eventually, which was the original goal, which would involve reviving those previous.
Oh, hold on a second. Is this only for volume snapshot? I thought this one is for both PVC and volume snapshot. Now it looks like you are only working on volume snapshot namespace transfer now.
The item was originally PVCs, and then I believe it changed in the spreadsheet to volume snapshot. And so part of my question was, we have had pending PVC
no, I
requests.
don't believe that. That's not how I remember. It is EC slash
volume slash snapshot. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So let me see.
So it sounds like we need to revive the previous caps.
Yeah. So
Thank
I
you.
think it's both, and not just snapshot.
Okay. So this is about
Yeah, I'll plus one that
yeah.
we want to come up with something that we can generically reuse for this kind of object.
Okay.
And when you send out the meeting invite, can you include the SIG storage mailing list? That way anyone who's interested can jump in. Thank you.
I can. And if you are interested, please include your email address as your name.
Sounds good.
Apologies for the confusion.
Hey, no problem. Thanks for working on this. So. Thank you. Okay, so I see that Ben just added this one. Ben, you want to talk about this?
Yeah, so this was another thing that came out of the feedback on the volume populators cap when we were looking at what kind of metrics make sense for volume populators. Tim said, it would be nice to know like how long it's taking for volume populators to do their thing. And I thought about it, and I thought that, well, the same is true for like cloning volumes, for cloning snapshots, for creating empty volumes. Like it would be nice to have metrics on how long volume creation takes, from an end user's perspective. And the thing that knows that is going to be the in-tree PVC bind controller, right? So the number that you're really interested in is how much time elapsed from the time the user created the PVC to the time the PVC became bound to APV. And then you'd like to be able to break down those elapsed times by data source kind. So you can say like, okay, empty volumes are taking, 5 seconds on average to create, clone volumes are taking 10 seconds on average to create, or whatever. And then if things suddenly start to get slower, like an operator could say, hey, all of a sudden my volume clones are taking 3 times as long or something. That might be an interesting piece of metrics to observe, that it's sort of it feels like it should be a core feature to get metrics on volume bind time.
We do have that today. We do have these metrics, but the problem is they're currently not broken down by data source. So I think what we need to do is look at the current metrics and see how we can, divide that and add that information about data source into it.
Okay.
Hey, Michelle, you say in the current metrics actually tells you the bind time already? I thought it's like the entire operation time, not the.
Well, yeah, but that's the entire operation is from the time the user creates a PVC until it gets bound. A bunch of stuff has to happen.
So that including basically this whole operation, right? So it's okay. So it's not okay. The start and until it is created and bound, or I don't know what is the end for that. It's just checking the binding.
Yeah, we have actually a number of metrics in this area. So we have metrics at multiple layers. We have metrics like just for the provision call, but then we also have metrics to cover like time a PVC is created to when it gets bound.
Yeah.
Oh, so okay, so that's good.
Yeah, we have total time and also like the once it starts, how much time it takes to finishes.
Yeah. But I think I also the way that we implemented the total time metrics in for PV bind isn't I think the most scalable way. Like it basically has to you have to like inject all sorts of exit points all over the code for it. I recently learned of this other project called Cube State Metrics, I think. I don't know if that might be worth investigating and see if that's a better place to sort of put these sort of like tracking when states of Kubernetes objects change.
Michelle, are you saying this is actually a separate project? what type of?
Yeah, I think
actually,
so.
yeah, somebody was asking that. I actually misunderstood. I thought this was the existing metric stuff in Kubelet, so I think I misunderstood. That's not that. So okay, do you have a link for?
Yeah, let me look it up. But it might be. I think as part of this investigation, I think we should kind of consider all of these different options.
But that's probably outside. So that's probably like out of the Kubernetes entry code or something like that.
But if we already have a metric that basically gets what we want, how hard is it to add another dimension to that metric, which is the data source kind?
Yeah,
so
maybe
that if you wanted to break it down.
Yeah, maybe it's better just to take a look of this one first, right? Since we already have it.
I would go and consider all of the options. I think currently the total metrics that we have right now, there's a couple cons to it. So that's why I potentially suggest maybe we should look at cube state metrics too. But I think we should definitely look at all of it.
I think the cube state metrics, but it will be also slightly inaccurate actually if we do the way like cube state metrics, like by watching resources and when their state changes.
So, hey, do you guys know this cube state metrics thing? You can actually use that to watch CRDs as well. Do you know that part?
I don't know out of my head, but
okay.
But I agree that we should look at it, but I at the same time I suspect that it will be slightly inaccurate, like those metrics. Maybe that's fine, a couple of milliseconds here and there, or microseconds.
Okay. Well, yeah, I wanted to sort of suggest this as a possible core enhancement because I didn't plan on doing anything in my work on the metrics for but there will be metrics in the library that handles data populators or volume populators. The populators library will have its metrics, but those aren't the metrics people really want based on the feedback to the KEP. So I wanted to suggest some core feature if somebody, and it doesn't sound like a huge amount of work. If someone just wanted to, enhance that, that might be a nice bite-sized enhancement.
Okay, so actually it's under Kubernetes org.
Michelle, the total one metrics you're talking about, is that the volume operation total seconds?
I think so. I forget the exact name of it.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so this looks like so it's actually under the Kubernetes org. So I think that considers entry, isn't it? I think it's kind of considers entry if it's under Kubernetes org. Okay. Yes, I don't know if this one actually can watch like volume snapshots. I think that was the question from somebody the other day. Okay, so Ben, are you going to investigate this? Several options that we have.
No, I was going to say that like I'm going to focus on this the data populator specific stuff, but this didn't feel data populator specific to me, which is why I just wanted to suggest that someone looks at it because I do not plan on looking at it.
Okay.
I mean, I'm going to add data. I'm going to add metrics to all of the pieces that I'm writing, but I'm not going to try to go into the bind controller and muck with the metrics there, at least not in this release.
Do you want to open an issue, a feature request issue? Then we can kind of ask for help on it.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Yeah, I mainly wanted to bring it up here just to see how much was already there, because I didn't know that we already had like a metric that was close to what we wanted that just doesn't have that extra dimension to it. And I don't know if you can just change an existing metric to add a dimension, or if you have to add a new metric for backwards compatibility reasons. I don't have a lot of metrics experience in general, but I know that people are taking a much harder look at it now with the product or production readiness reviews. Metrics have become a much bigger deal for every feature. So yeah, I can I guess file a feature request issue that would go on the KK repo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay.
All right. Thanks. I think that's all we have. Does anyone have any other issue that you want to discuss today? If not, you have 5 minutes back. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.